Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast, as part of the Bostics and Rubble. This audio podcast as part of the Crispa and Beta. This audio podcast as part of the Grand Rounds, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm the Bostics production. Now, looking at some of the conclusions as part of this, works and part of this audio podcast and series, this audio podcast series. So, improved access to point of care testing, or POCT, and diagnostics, and infection prevention from healthcare service. For healthcare services differ across healthcare practices. At the same time, healthcare services differ owing to the lack of integrated patient services or patient services or service user, and where healthcare service users may also use sort of different forms of information, different forms of information when healthcare services are without a multidisciplinary team or MDT involvement. So research also informs ultimately that young people undergoing solid organ transplantation improves functioning. However, again, a disconnect still exists surrounding healthcare services, and healthcare services, sort of education and employment for young people with chronic illness and or chronic illnesses. That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast is part of the Bostics and Rubble. This audio podcast is part of the Crispa and Beta, and this audio podcast as part of the Grand Rounds, and this audio podcast is part of a Storm Bostics production.